What's going on, guys? Alex here, and we are here with another episode of Stock versus Not. Today we are back in the Japanese automaker group. I'm recording this video before seeing the results to the Aston Martin videos, whether or not we're doing the Valkyrie. So this one will be recorded before if we do the Valkyrie, so that's why the ranking boards might look different starting from now on, if not. Well, but anyway, we are going to continue moving on. So we're continuing our cycle, and we're back in the Japanese market, and we are working with Nissan. That holds a near and dear close place to my heart because I did work for Nissan service for quite some time. So today we are in the 2007 Fairlady Z version S. That is a mouthful. If you're in the United States, you'll know this as the 350Z. Chassis code Z33 for you Nissan heads. Let's hop into the car settings and see what types of stats we have on it. This is the 07, so this one has the VQ35HR. That is a 3.5 liter V6, also known as the trumpet when it comes to the exhaust. Or people say it sounds like a trumpet. I honestly think it just sounds like a very angry elephant, but that's what it is. So we have 310 horsepower, 264 foot-pound of torque, and we have a weight of about 3,200 pounds. Fairly balanced at a 53 front, 47 to the rear when it comes to its ratio front to rear weight balance. And we are at 516 performance points. Let's take a look at what we're looking up against when it comes to the stock ranking boards. It is going to go toe-to-toe with that Jaguar F-Type as well. But we're on the lower end of the spectrum there, so let's see. Looks like it's going to be right around that Corvette, the Corollas and the GRs and whatnot. So let's see what we can do there. This is the very interesting part here. Now I just saw it. The GR Corolla and the GR Yaris made roughly about 300 horsepower out of their turbocharged inline 3s. And they were significantly lighter and also all-wheel drive. This is front engine rear-wheel drive and just a naturally aspirated V6 engine. So let's see what we can do with it. This car does come with sports hard tires, and I'll be honest with you, I did spend quite some time inside and under these cars when I worked at Nissan. Very cool cars. I personally like them a lot. A little bit of a pain to work on, and especially once you kind of get the years on them, some of their maintenance and known flaws are just kind of not desirable for those who do not want to wrench on their own vehicles. But brand new out the box is when I typically saw them, or not brand new, I wasn't working at Nissan there, so, but by the time I got to Nissan, these things had been on the road for quite some time. And they were kind of in their first, like the end of the term with their first owners, or they were onto their second owner, showing up in our used lot, certified used and whatnot. But yeah, whenever I drove these things, instantly I figured, no, clutch was heavy, steering was tight, you sat really low in these cars, and it was just a very nice place to sit in when it came to sports cars. Especially with Nissan at the time, you know, you had like the Altimas and all that. That definitely was like a family sedan, but the Z was, it was dialed in. It felt like a proper sports car for what it is. And people can, you know, can kind of make fun of it. Yeah, it's a little heavier compared to like its Honda, and if you want to really compare it to a Miata, I don't think it's really in the same class as the Miata, more so like an RX-8 or so. And then you can argue that the RX-8 doesn't have enough power. But the nice thing about these VQ engines is that it's one of the best V6s around, and I will say that in full confidence. If you can maintain the Nissan VQ platform, it will take care of you. Especially if you can get it paired with the manual transmission, that is probably your best combination to have a car that will last you for plenty of time. It's a smooth revving engine, and aside from like the known issues now, like the galley gaskets and whatnot, Some had some oil consumption issues, and then obviously you had the different variations as the times went on. But you can easily, you know, swap them over and, you know, get some fun out of these cars. And, you know, you'll see these pop up at a track day and autocross, no problem at all. They're still widely used, especially in like the drift scene as well too. Modern day S chassis, if you will, I guess. How's this car driving the game? Not bad at all. Definitely have to keep a little bit of a thought on the weight transfer of the car. Definitely, if you upset the balance, it is going to kind of start to give you some issues. But other than that, it's not bad at all. Also, speaking of these cars, if you ever get to see under the hood of one of these, the engine is actually situated pretty far close to the, like pretty far back close towards the firewall, and it actually has like a I forget where exactly on like the engine bay it says it. It might be actually, I think it's actually on the Infiniti G35, I think is what I saw it on, but obviously it's the same car. But it says something about like mid-ship or mid-engine something on there. So I guess you consider it's a front mid-engine vehicle, if you want to call it that. And I just totally didn't even notice that we're on the 4th lap already, and just talking to you guys about this car. But yeah, let's wrap up this 4th lap and we'll see where this falls on the leaderboard. Not a bad car to drive. Compared to the Aston Martins we just got out of, this thing is a lot more manageable, believe it or not. I would say power to weight on this thing is pretty good. It's not too overwhelming and very easy to get on with it. 101.083 or 101.049 if you're looking at optimals. Let's take a look at where we land. And of course, you know, for the stock car, I had to pick that iconic like sunburst orange or rust orange, whatever they called it. That was kind of like the signature color when these cars came out, for like the press release and whatnot. Okay. Go to 600 performance points. Where did we land with this car? Yep, it beat out exactly where I thought it would beat out. It beat out the Corolla and the Yaris, but just couldn't quite get to the Supra. So yeah, I guess you can honestly, let me see what the GR Supra. Okay, GR Supra does have a little bit more horsepower than that, but still, I guess you can say that, you know, the Z is kind of like currently like a modern day Supra competitor in a sense. Let's go ahead and swap cars. I'm gonna go to my second favorite color that a Z can come in, this blue. And in proper JDM fashion, this has an engine swap. We have the RB26 DETT out of the R34 GTR Skyline. So we went from having a V6 to an inline 6. We are making 882 horsepower, 632 pound-feet of torque. We cut it down to 2,800 pounds, and the weight distribution actually kind of got a little better there, because I guess with the engine size or something caused it to not do that with maybe the weight loss or whatever. Obviously we are now turbocharged as well too. Off to the right you'll see our suspension, our differential aero package, and everything else here. Oh, I did have ballast, duh. That's why it's like that. There is the high super turbo or high RPM turbocharger you can get in the extreme portion of the tuning shop. I just technically, yeah, it's stock versus not. I should put that on there, but it's gonna be overkill for this track, to be honest with you. So it just has the regular high RPM output. If with the super high revving one, I think it bumped the horsepower to somewhere in the 900 range. But again, those turbochargers are set for like a high-speed run on like special stage or something like that. Yeah, let's head over to the ranking board, see what we're going against. We are going to be gunning for the Camaro, it looks like. Probably not though, because we have about 20 horsepower below that. Will we be able to beat the F-Type? That's the question. That was our reigning champ for quite some time. Currently, we are living in the Chevy dynasty. The ZR1, the C6, has a 48.140, and that was with a Bugatti Chiron engine. So yeah, that was a little crazy of a video there. If you haven't watched it yet, you should definitely go take a look after this. But anyway, let's go ahead and give this Skyline swapped 350Z a rip around Suzuka. Obviously, we are on racing soft tires because we need all the traction. And what else are we going to do? Now, the one thing that I will say about this specific Nissan and kind of Nissans in general, they were very late with, not very late, but they were very bad at keeping all their cars updated with their interiors. Like this interior right in front of you right here, it's, you know, we had like the very big plastic steering wheel, kind of chunky and blocky, and then you had like the 3 gauges in the front, right in front of you. They were great gauges. I do like the center mounted tack. That was nice, but you have the 3 gauges directly in front of you, and then they had this like this orange glow to them that just, you saw it in every single Nissan product. And working for Nissan, you kind of just go like, I don't want to look at this anymore. And they did the same thing to like the Titan and the Frontier, and for the longest time that was what their interior looked like. And then like only recently is when they finally gave things digital dash and whatnot. That center gauge pod cluster off to the left, basically useless. I think it was like a clock, a voltometer, and maybe like oil temp, but basically dummy gauges for the most part. Weren't very accurate. They're almost like a thermostat, you know, like an on and off switch. But yeah, those, at least the nice thing about those is that the routing and the holes are already there, so you can easily swap in your own auxiliary gauge pod in, or gauges in there, and get whatever telemetry or readings you'd want for your car. Let's see what kind of speeds we're going to hit on this straight. About 180 miles an hour, not bad. So that this one has a little bit of a tech package to it with a big old screen in the middle there. Now, I really wouldn't mind a Z as a little fun track car. I think it's, especially in its naturally aspirated form, just a good, you know, tire, suspension. You can definitely have that car scoot around the track very easily, and very reliably too. And of course, you have the hatchback, so you know, getting tools like small hand tools, jack, you should be able to get that in. Probably won't be able to take tires with you or anything like that. But yeah, not a. Let's see how far we can brake. Ooh. Yeah, you can take the brakes pretty deep with this thing. It's not bad at all. This car actually is driving very nicely. Almost very. I mean, the only other Japanese car we've done is Toyota. What I call it, BRZ Sharp, or not BRZ, or you know what I mean, BRZ GT86 FRS, blah blah blah. Is it precise like them? Probably not as precise, but it's very close. Definitely very confidence-inspiring 3DSs. Don't really have to ask much of it to make you do what you want it to do. Alright. We got 4 laps, that's not bad at all. 50.717 or 50.513 being the optimal. Let's see where that puts us on our ranking board. Obviously, we did not dethrone any of the Corvettes or the Camaros. Everything on the top 10 is now sub 49 or sub 50. Sorry. All right, where did we fall? Number 15 out of 20. Okay, not bad at all. So got slated right between the 21 GR86 and the 2019 Supra. So very interesting. And let's look at the horsepower and weight differences there. So we had 882 horsepower, 2,800 pounds. The GR Supra fully modified was 816, and the GR86 was 816 as well too. So looks like this was a power to weight type of deal. The Supras and the Toyotas were significantly lighter than the Z, but you know what? That's a respectable lap. I will totally accept that. So anyway, that is today's episode. And again, thanks for watching. I'll catch you guys in the next one.